Is there any innovator on the call who is interested in any form of agriculture, soilless farming, or agriculture in general? All our great innovators here. Taiwo, Benga, Babatunde, Osarode. So can we have Doyin then Osarode?
Can I speak, ma?
Yes, please.
Okay. Currently, I'm doing my master's degree in environmental microbiology. Sorry. So,
interesting.
My thesis, which I'm actually working on, but because of this strike, it has been sort of slowed down, is using waste, human hair waste, to supplement mushroom production.
Human hair, like in the hair on our head.
Yeah, like from barbing salon. Yes, hair, HAIR. Okay. So it's a very, very controversial topic, because in Nigeria, hair is regarded in a very different light. But
you want to do jazz with your hair, and you now sell it black soap.
That's the thing. Nobody will take it at first glance, especially we Nigeria. Nobody will take it at first glance as it is something that is normal. But why I'm particularly how I put it now, interested in this is that I've actually done some of the experiments where I was able to dissolve hair in solutions, and the solutions were able to make mushrooms grow better. But it's still novel, and the only other place I've seen it done is the hair capital of the world, India.
Okay.
And so it's like most of my research papers, I'm talking with Indian researchers. They are the only people that are actually very, very into this thing, because Indians export a lot of their hair to other countries. So they end up with, most times, hair waste, like a lot of hair waste from their women and whatever. So it's very novel. In Africa, you don't even mention it, because people will almost lynch you and say you are a Yahoo boy. Nobody listen at all, especially in like Benin City and all of that. But it's an interesting field, because there are some proteins locked in human hair, keratin and other substances, that when they are freed, they can become available to microorganisms, mushrooms, and even plants. And I look at this conflict in Ukraine, and the whole world is crying fertilizer.
When they would just take human hair from India and grow their crops.
Okay, not even India, from your own country, like your own country. Every country has people that have hair. At least let's start with that.
Okay. And then use the moisture to. Yeah.
Okay.
You get, every country has their own hair, so it is very interesting. In fact, this is the last point. Sort of, African hair is even richer in some proteins than Caucasian hair. This is something that nobody will really think of at first, but from analysis, it's actually richer in some nutrients than Caucasian hair. So the possibilities are endless, but we are very limited by our perception, Africa, culture, and some other stuff. And I can't really blame us, because we have to be careful.
Yeah. So, sorry, this thinking now. What thinking style? Because I want to pull it home a bit. Yeah. So this is really practical information. Thank you so much. Let's talk a bit of the back end of it, and what are your perceptions? Of course, even just from hearing you speak, it shows that you, the researcher, and the people who consume your products already have a different thinking style. This is very disruptive, what you're talking about. So please just run us through your thoughts on that.
Okay. I consider this part of the breakout quadrants, where unconventional thinking is, taking up. And although it is unconventional to us here in Africa, it's not unconventional to Indians, who use hair for a lot of things apart from selling. They use hair for even clothing. They use hair for some very, very weird things.
They use hair for clothes.
Yes, their clothes made out of hair, just that they are very expensive. They are very, very expensive. So that's one. So I'm in that breakout quadrant, right? And I'm trying to, I don't know, because I've had the opportunity to go to salons and speak, and I've had very little success. Before I start talking, they just tell me, sorry, bros, I cannot do it, or I cannot listen to what you are saying. But some salon owners have been... I honestly, once you just put the context for which I'm coming from and everything, the whole argument is flawed. Nobody wants to listen to you. So not very few salon owners are willing to even reason along the line I'm talking about, because some went to school and some are willing to actually trust and hear what I'm saying. But trying to walk people back to the focus quadrant, like Professor spoke about, is something. Yes, it is something that is quite difficult, honestly, because the prevailing conditions in Africa will mean that you don't talk about certain things, you don't do certain things, and if you do them, you are going against society, and that can get you in trouble and all of that. But there's this other part of me that believes this. I'm not praying for any sort of hardship or anything, but they often say that this thing is the mother of invention. Necessity is the mother of invention. I'm not praying that we enter a fertilizer scarcity or we enter a very hard condition with the world. But if that will now make us see this other aspect of sort of secularity, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, because currently hair waste is being thrown away in the tons every year across Africa, across Nigeria. In the tons, it's being thrown away. Nobody pays attention to it. And then somebody comes up with an idea to make it secular, and then everybody goes, "Hey, no, juju, yahoo, this one," and of course, those concerns are valid, but I think we need to work on them. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Solomon. I'm so sorry. I want to pull us back now, because we just had to have this mini debrief chat. We still have a lot to share. Like I can pick about at least 10 people on this call that will blow our minds with the disruptive thinking they're having and their perspective. But I think it's an interesting place to take a break. As we progress, I could maybe call on Sunday, Sholanke and Fatima Omar from IUO, because I know I had mentioned you. But I'll go back now to Professor Joseph. I believe, I hope you find this particular concept of hair into fertilizer thinking and at least understand like the Nigerian challenge and the African challenge cross section with the continent of Asia and how generally it fits into what we're talking about. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you to everyone for sharing their insights from their discussions. And I mean, I think there's a couple of general comments I can make. The first one related to the conversation, the last conversation about human hair. When Henry Ford was embarking on the introduction of mass production of automobiles in Detroit in the early 20th century, the old saying was that if Henry Ford would have asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. And so when you're on the forefront of something, when you're standing on the edge of reason and looking into the future, oftentimes it can be a very lonely place in the beginning. And as we saw in the story of computing, the move from IBM to Microsoft and then ultimately to Apple, each one of those steps required a fundamental change in the meaning of computing. And we're not talking now about the change in the technology. Remember, the marketplace is technology, economy, and society. And the discussion about hair was the fact that the technological capability and the economic potential of reusing human hair already exist. What's not in place yet is society's willingness to try or to explore that concept because of taboos or existing meanings about the nature of things like that. And so I think the lesson here is that when you're participating in innovative thinking, you have to understand that those three forces in the marketplace do not move at the same pace. And notoriously, the slowest moving one is society. And in fact, many people argue now that our technological and economic potential far exceeds our societal willingness to do new things. And we saw from the recent pandemic crisis that when humans need to change behavior for survival, our capacity to change quickly is quite extraordinary. But under normal circumstances, society moves very slowly. And so you find yourself equipped with the technology and with the economic potential, but yet you can't move society. And so this is a common challenge that entrepreneurs face. The other observation that I'll take away from all of the discussions really is this understanding of what I call kinetic thinking as quite a deliberate technique for what I call more practically zooming in and zooming out, right? You zoom out to